What's up, guys? Zaid here, and today I'm going to be going over Unholy Soul's Kashtira deck profile. He is top 10 on DB right now, and I have the little screenshot of our conversation just to prove that he sent it to me so y'all don't think I'm fibbing. And then I asked him for replays, and he didn't answer me on that part, but I just watched some of his duels and saved some replays. So after the deck profile, I also have two replays to show you guys, one against the mirror match and one against Labyrinth, just so we can kind of like see how he plays it, you know? And so let me go over to deck constructor. He sent it as like an image, and so I just put the deck together so that I could show it to you guys easier, and we could like go over the cards and stuff, you know. But if you look at the main and side deck, if you guys watch the first place Vegas 3v3 list, the main and side are honestly identical. A lot of the changes in his list come in the extra deck, and so I'm gonna kind of be quick going over the main deck, but the thing that's cool about it is that's the list I've been testing, so I can kind of talk the most about it. But for the Kashtira lineup, he plays the 3 Unicorn and then 3 of each spell that it searches, Theosis and Birth. Some people are cutting Theosis down to 2, but I guess he likes 3. I've been fucking with 3. I don't really... The reason people cut it, I think, are because it's not good on its own. And this deck plays a lot of non-engine cards, so you kind of want like 1 to 2 engine cards that work together, and then you want to like have the rest be things that are going to either interrupt your opponent or protect yourself. But he plays a 3 Theosis, 3 Birth, 3 Prosperity, 3 Fenrir, 2 Rise Heart, 1 Kashtira, Scareclaw. Some people play more of this, like we'll play 2 of it, or we'll play the Tier Element one, but this seems right to me also. The 1 Ogre and the 2 Traps to search with it, and then the 4 Field Spell, and then 3 Book of Eclipse, 3 Book of Moon. They're both insane in the mirror match, and they're just like generically pretty good. Like Book of Eclipse and Book of Moon are usually going to trade with at least 1 interruption on almost any M board, and they also can help sometimes protect you. In this deck, they're not as protective. Like, I've been playing Despia a little bit, and I was playing, as my going second cards, 3 Ash, 3 Eclipse, and 3 Kaijus. But the Book of Eclipse was kind of crazy sometimes when you'd go, like, opening for a Luber, and it's your only line, and they'd imperm it, and you can just chain Eclipse to dodge it. In this deck, you can't do that as much, because if your guy goes face down, now you can't special, and also, like, you can't overlay with it, and the cards you're searching typically aren't that crazy. Like, if your opening is Unicorn, 4 cards to protect, you go Unicorn effect, they go imperm, what are you going to do? Add Birth or Theosis and have no target? You'd then need to have, like, an additional extender, and if you have the extender, you're probably fine just letting the card get impermed and keeping the Eclipse. But it's very, very good going second and decent going first. And then he's got, like, I already said the 3 Book of Moon, but then 3 Ash, 3 Imperm, 3 Lance. Lance is so good that other lists have been starting to play the Sky Striker spell. I forget what it's called. Let me check. This one. Eagle Booster. But the thing, like, you always should play Lance and then consider Eagle Booster, because Lance can protect Unicorn and Fenrir from being interrupted, whereas this card only protects things in the extra monster zone, so it's only going to protect the Arise Heart if it sticks. But there's a lot of times where an Imperm on a Unicorn can stop that Arise Heart from ever sticking, you know? So this one's obviously the most important one. And then for the side deck, again, like, this is basically the same, I think exactly the same as the first place Vegas one. 3 Shifter, 2 Droll, 2 Droplet, 2 Enemy Controller, 1 Change of Heart, 1 Feather Duster, 3 Dimension Barrier, and then the 1 Appointer. I personally, I don't really understand what matchups you're putting Droplet in against. Like, I don't think you're ever putting it in going first, because Arise Heart's the end goal for this type of deck. But, and Droplet turns that off. I guess it counters Ibli strategies going second, but so does Econ. Like, I personally think I just like this card more than this card, because this has a lot of weird niche scenarios that are crazy. Like, at locals right now, I don't know about y'all, but my locals has a lot of trap tricks, because the structure deck's really cheap and accessible, and it's a good deck. And, like, their end board of double XYZ, Sarah, you could just, like, summon a guy, and if they try to floodgate it with their Rafflesia, you could chain Econ, tribute that guy, take their other XZ, punch over the Sarah, then drop Zeus and clear their entire board. And it just, like, that 2-card combo deals with so many interruptions. Because even if they somehow stop the Zeus, like, you got rid of the, you get rid of the Sarah that you attack over, you get rid of the, Rafflesia that tried to book you, then when you make, like, Zeus, and they have to say Nightmare it, Trap Trick Trap Hole Nightmare, and you use something, you just went, like, 2 for 3 against a deck that your deck's way more unfair than, and most of their outs to a Zeus get it out of the extra, or get it off the field, so then you could just go, like, Special Fenrir, try again, you know? So I personally like this card more than this card. I'm kind of curious if Unholy Soul watches this, Or if anybody that's been playing Droplet watches this, let me know what instances you like this card. And then the Change of Heart Feather Duster. Like, this side deck, to me, feels like, in my testing, that I've wanted more back row removal, like an Evenly or Lightning Storm or Cosmic or something. Maybe that's what I would personally get rid of these for, but I'm not too sure. And then the extra deck, like I said, is where his list differs from the Vegas list. The Vegas list played 2 Diablos. It played a Red Eyes Flare Metal and one other card. Oh, Baron de Fleur. And he cut those in favor of Fossil Machine Skull Wagon, Fossil Warrior Skull Knight, and the Infinitrack Goliath. And then also plays the Garura. So he plays 4 cards to just straight banish off Desires. So I'm assuming if you're going first, right, you're probably going to Desires those 4 away, along with maybe the Big Eye or maybe your second Zeus and then the Donner. But these 4 all have effects that are going to help your Arise Heart. So Goliath, if it's attached to Arise Heart, makes it so it can't be destroyed by card effect. These 2, the Skull ones, this one, when it's in the graveyard, you can banish it, I believe. Let me double check. You can banish this card from your grave, target a spell trap, and destroy it. And this one, you can banish it, target a monster on the field, destroy it. And these have like double utility, right? Because you're putting them under Arise Heart, and you're not going to want to detach these for Arise Heart's effect. You're kind of hoping to keep them so that, say your opponent, right, they Book of Eclipse you. Now your guy's face down. If they then out it, these cards are going to grave, not to banish. So you can then on your turn use them to pop. But also, if you manage to make Arise Heart before you need the pops, you can then use its effect to pop, trigger Arise Heart, attach them again, and keep going. And the fact that they banish themselves, even if you didn't get Arise Heart right away, if you make the Arise Heart later in the turn, you can reattach. So cards like these are going to help you a lot in the grind game, especially like the back row one. This one I hadn't seen played until I saw, I think, Jesse Cotton's list, and this is the second time I've seen it. This card seems insane, especially with like Labyrinth and stuff going and performing well. I would definitely like to try this card more and be able to give my own feedback on it, but it's sick. Then he plays the 1 Dark Arm Dragon of Annihilation. This card is like literally insane. I love it. The other one-ofs are the 1 Big Eye, the 1 Diablos, the 1 Donner, and then 2 Zeus, 2 Shangri-Ira, and 3 Arise Heart. And like I said, I've got some replays too to show you guys of him using the deck so we can kind of get a feel for his play style. In this one, he's 1278 rating. His opponent wasn't too high rated, 480, but he was playing Labyrinth, and I thought it would be interesting because I personally want to see if that Spell Trap Popper comes up in the match. Said it to show both hands. But our boy Unholy opened Lance Prosperity. So having the Prosperity, it might come up. The Theosis Unicorn Eclipse versus Compulse, Ariana, D-Barrier, Skill Drain Duality. And the Labyrinth player won the die roll, which is pretty good for him. But this Lance is going to come in strong, it looks like, with all this back row in hand. Oh, no, he didn't. UnholySoul won the die roll. So it's very advantageous for him he won the die roll. This is a rough hand to have to go against going second. So Unicorn Effect, going to grab the Birth, probably because he already has Theosis. Activate the Theosis. This is one of those hands where he was probably praying to get impermed on the Unicorn. Like, you probably wouldn't even protect if you did, because you're just like, oh, cool, they're down a trap and I already opened Theosis. Which is a cool reason to want to open this, because in tandem with any of the names, it is really good. But, so if, this hand had 2 Theosis, it would have been dog shit. He's going to summon the Arise Heart off Theosis, banish the Ogre, and this line gives him the 3 level 7s, but also is going to give him a trap. Banishing 3, and he hit a Welcome, a Lord, and a Strike. I don't think lists typically main more than 1 Lord, so that's probably the only Lord, too. Birth, grab Ogre. Ogre, grab Prep. Prep is so strong, especially into this matchup, because it also has the effect to look at their hand and rip a card, which, forces them to full commit onto the board. Gonna make the Arise Heart. Gonna activate Prosperity now. Looks like he's thinking on what to banish. Now we can kind of see what the other 2 he gets rid of are. So, we knew the first 4 were going to be the ones that have effects. And then, yeah, Donner Zeus. I think that's exactly what I said. Hell yeah. And then he's going to mill 6. What are we grabbing here? He already has Birth. I feel like he's got follow-up, so he's probably going to take an Imperm or an Ash. Probably Ash. Yeah, I feel like Ash against the mirror match trades the same way Imperm does. You also don't have to commit to the board to play into it evenly. But then against a deck like Branded or Labyrinth, you'd rather have the Ash than the Imperm. Because against Labyrinth, it trades with the monsters the same way. It trades against Ariana the same way, but it wouldn't trade well with Lord or Lady. But it stops Welcome and Big Welcome, which bring those out. So I feel like the Ash is more important there. And then obviously you want an Ash Branded Fusion. But so now he's got the Arise Heart to trigger, and he probably equips the Goliath first. He opts for the Garura, actually. I guess people aren't maining things like Dark Hole Raigeki, so it might be better to get the Garura. That way, if you get Kaiju or something, you still get immediate value. And he's going to set 3 pass, being the Prep, the Book, and the Lance. We're going to draw a Fenrir for turn. It's interesting to see Fenrir in the list, but it's next to a Pot of Duality, which kind of makes you wonder. Why are you playing those cards with one another? So he's going to opt for the Fenrir. Then he's going to activate a Rise Heart just to straight banish it. At this point, he might think he's against the mirror match. And if that's the case, it's interesting that he would hit the first summon against the mirror match. That's not how that works. Guy doesn't know how Fenrir works. Boom. New chain, a Rise Heart. Attaching the Skull Knight. Summon Ariana. Ariana effect gets ashed. And now we're going to trigger this again. So this is where these cards seem insane, right? Because now he's got, if a Rise Heart dies, he has a draw, a monster pop, and a spell trap pop. We're going to see a set 3 pass. He's going to go end phase Prep. And leaving the Duality in hand is going to get punished by the Prep. Because now if he activates a trap at Resolution, we're going to hit the Duality. So I feel like this Labyrinth player is not very good, to be honest. But so we're probably going to get to watch him get waxed. No offense, Senpai Z X00, if you're watching this. I'm just guessing you're newer to the deck. And then he draws the planet after specialing Unicorn. Standby. Main phase. Or still in standby. We're going to see the Compulse on the Arise Heart, which feels so good here. Like, oh, I guess it's fair to lance it, but I don't even know if I'd want to lance it. Because, like, then all these go to grave. You get a draw, and you get 2 pops, and you get this to rip the card from hand. But at the same time, you don't not get those because you stop this. You just might get them later. New chain, Arise Heart 1, Prep 2, hit the Duality, equip the Goliath, and then Arise Heart again because Duality's gone to equip the Lance. Yeah, he's out of things that are advantageous to banish. And we're going to get Unicorn effect to search, and his opponent just scoops. Rightfully so. You weren't really going to win that game. Then we see game 2. Summon Ariana effect, and it's probably going to get impermed. Set 3 pass. Draws a second Unicorn. This hand's pretty lit, though, not going to lie. So we're going to special Uni. There and out to Uni. There's the punishment. You could also Judgment the summon, but that's not very strong. He's going to let the Unicorn go through. Grab Theosis. Activate the Theosis. Chain Punishment, which is going to send the link that sends Garura. Then new chain. Ariana 1 to draw and then special. Yeah. And then dump Garura. So he draws, and then Garura effect to draw. Draws Lord. Not the best draws. Prosperity for 6. Let's see how it changes. So it's the same 4, and then still Donner. So same 5, but this time he gets rid of an Era instead of the second Zeus. Probably because going second, you'd like to Zeus them twice. I don't know. Oh, hitting a Duster might just seal the deal. He's probably taking it. No, he takes the field spell. I guess, yeah, you would probably have to take the field spell here because you already used Unicorn's effect. So specialing it does nothing, but the field spell gets you to Fenrir. That gets met with a Judgment. So now we probably just special Unicorn and attack. This is an instance where if he played the Baron, he might be tempted to go for it. But looking at the back row, he might get punished for it. Because like he could go summon the Ash. Then his opponent would be forced to use Big Welcome. Or it's not Big Welcome, right? This is just regular Welcome. This stupid, whatever this little pop-up on DB is, protected by Recaptcha, is in my way trying to to see what the name of this card is, because I think it's just regular Welcome Labyrinth. But yeah, so like the Baron could have came up here, but in this scenario, I feel like it's better that it doesn't almost. Punch the Ariana, effect to rip from extra. What do you rip? Oh, he rips a Garura. And then just passes. Then we see Welcome activated, Ash activated, Resolution, Summon Lord, and then draw a Solemn Strike. If he would have set the Lance, he could have damage step saved his Unicorn. That's kind of interesting that that came up. Main 2, summon Arya, or Ariana. I wonder why he had... Oh, he probably attacked first so his extra deck didn't get ripped. Add Big Welcome. Activate Duality. Grab D-Barrier. I don't like D-Barrier in this matchup that much, to be honest. I feel like I would have grabbed Prosperity. Or is Lady the one that could special itself? Yeah, maybe. Well, you couldn't special it this turn. There's a case to have taken Lady or Prosperity, I think. I don't like D-Barrier that much into the matchup. Draws Ash. This has to be a scoop phase here, right? I feel like we're going to see a game 3. Big Welcome gets ashed. Strike that. Yeah, and Unholy admits defeat. And we will see a game 3. But this matchup, the Labyrinth into Kashtira, I feel like the Labyrinth player is sweating going second. Interesting, he still has Duality in. Especially because I feel like a Lava Golem's a decent side card against the Cash. But not the way he's playing it. I like the way where you play it where you just make a Rise Heart and you don't really play into Lava Golem. But here we got Field Spell, Lance, Theosis, Imperm, Red Lotus. And this is looking really, really strong. So he's going to grab Uni, Special Uni, search Birth. Yeah, and then activate Theosis, Special Rise. Same line we saw last time. Rise, Banish Ogre, Banish 3. Let's check what those were real quick. Big Welcome, Prosperity, Skill Drain. And then Birth for the Ogre. Ogre for the preparations. Overlay for a Rise Heart. Set Lotus. Set Prep. Set Lance. Do you also set the Imperm here? I guess he holds the Imperm. I guess you just don't want to play too hard and evenly, but I wonder why Imperm is the one card he's like, I'll keep that. We see a draw for turn. Draws Compulse. And then Red Lotus is going to activate. Hits the Compulse, and then is going to trigger a Rise Heart to equip the Compulse. Oh, that's why you had to hold a card, because you have to reveal your hand for this. So he needed at least one in hand. The Compulse gets equipped. We're going to go to main 1, Duality. Strike, Punishment, Skill Drain. And he takes the Strike, which I guess is fair. Duality's banished, and then we're going to get the... a Rise Heart to equip the Red Lotus, most likely. You also could have taken the Duality. Sets 5. Passes. We're probably going to see an end phase hit, but maybe he's going to save it. I feel like you do it here. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he has 5 materials, so you 100% do it here. I think there's a case if you have 4 that you hold it if you're trying to play around something like Skill Drain. But you had 5, so you for sure do it here, and then this is going to get to re-equip one. He's going to re-equip the Ogre, and then he's going to flip Prep, Special Unicorn. This is why Prep is so crazy, because it's like, it gives you the 1-card combo, but also gives you a bunch of follow-up, and if the guy kept any cards in hand, this would counter him. Activate Terror, probably target a Rise Heart. And then chain Lance. Lance is going to protect. So there's still a Strike and a Welcome Labyrinth that he's going to have to play through. A Rise Heart's going to equip the Lance. And then we're going to see Unicorn Search. That's going to get hit with Solemn Strike. A Rise Heart equip. And his opponent just scoops. So real quick, let's double check that he had lethal there. He hasn't used this to get rid of a card yet, right? This is not going to be an interruption. So even if he doesn't have lethal, he still most likely wins. Because this will clear one of these. I mean, he could technically use this, blindly hit this get chained. But then he could still like clear this later on. But So he used Uni already. What's he got under here? I guess he'd go special Rise Heart, banish Fenrir, birth special Fenrir, Fenrir search Uni, normal Uni, switch everything to attack, and with the field spell buff, that should be enough for lethal. Yeah, that's definitely enough for lethal, which would force the activation of this, and this would just be able to banish that, and then, yeah. So that's for sure game right there. And now let's go over to the second replay, where we've got him fighting the mirror match. And it looks like the opponent, Bard Home Meton, wins the rock, paper, scissors. This guy's rating's a little higher. He's still not necessarily in high rated yet, but he's getting close. And then we've got Big Bang, Eclipse, Rise Heart, Birth, Scareclaw against Prosperity, Uni, Birth, Theosis, Birth. So the dude going first, his hand's not awful. The Rise Heart, Birth is fine to play, and then you have the Scareclaw to extend, I guess. Rise Heart, banish Uni, Birth. Well, let's see what he hit. Ooh, hits the Ogre, which is kind of cool. I mean, it's not the end of the world, though, because you can use a Rise Heart to recycle it. But against most decks, if you lose one of, it's pretty bad. Uni grab Theosis. Theosis grab Fenrir. Fenrir search Uni. Make the a Rise Heart. Set Eclipse Big Bang. Was there a way... Yeah, I feel like he could have went special Arise. So he went a Rise Heart, banish Uni, right? And then he got the Fenrir with search. I feel like instead of using Theosis for Fenrir, you probably should have used it for Ogre and then got the preparation. And then you would have had Big Bang preparation, Book of Eclipse. And the Big Bang would be able to get you the Uni for follow-up again. It technically wouldn't be an interruption on their turn, though, because you wouldn't have access to the Fenrir. But I like the follow-up. That card provides a lot. Prosperity. Let's see. And it looks like his banish consistently is Era, Donner, and then the 4 good names going second, and Zeus, Donner, 4 good names going first. We're going to see Lance, field spell, Rise Heart, second field spell, Prosperity. So you're not taking Prosperity. Probably not taking the field spells or the Rise Heart. I'm guessing you take Lance here. Lance or Eclipse, because Eclipse will deal with the Arise Heart, but Lance will help deal with the back row. But knowing it's the mirror, I feel like you're only really afraid of books, and you have a lot of extension. So I'm guessing he's going to take Eclipse. Let's see. Hell yeah, I had the right guess. And now we're going to see Arise Heart activate to equip. Equip the Prosperity, and then we're going to Eclipse it. Special Uni. I guess he didn't equip the Prosperity. He chained it to the effect. But we'll special Uni. Does the Eclipse come down here? Is there a world where you let them search first? If we saw in the first match that he used punishment to stop Theosis, so I'm assuming Book would work the same way, where now the monster's face down. We no longer know it's a Kashtira monster. So you could probably let them search Theosis, activate Theosis, and then chain. So his hand would have stayed the same because he has Theosis and Births already. But the opponent doesn't know that, and he wouldn't have the Theosis to keep going. Next, we're going to see Rise Heart come down. Also, something to note, too, is that here, if he had the prep, he could have chained Rise Heart, banish like itself or whatever was on board, and then he would have been able to use the trap to bring another guy back. Even if it's not going to be that crazy for him, it still would have given him a chance to like not die here. But now it kind of looks like he might die. We'll see Rise Heart normal summoned, then activate the effect, banish Fenrir, and banish field spell Ash Imperm. And then we got Birth. Birth going to summon Fenrir. Fenrir effect, add Kashtira Scareclaw. Theosis. So from here, this would not have happened if he would have waited a tiny bit. Overlay into the big dog. So I don't think he could have accessed this card if we waited a tiny bit on the Eclipse. But that's kind of like good to know for myself. I haven't played too many mirrors, sadly. Banish the Arise Heart. Those all get banished as well. And now the Arise Heart effect. Equip Garura. Kashtira Scareclaw effect, banish Theosis. Now we're probably going to equip the Theosis, and Theosis adds Unicorn. Oh no, he opts to add Skull Wagon. 26, 3k. Overlaid for Zeus. Uni got flipped up. He should draw a card too, right? I don't know if he did. But, oh well. I don't know why he's going to hard activate Birth here. Maybe to force the Zeus, which is fair. But now you've used Birth effect, and you probably plan on eclipsing anyways. On res, we're going to Zeus. That explains why he equipped this instead of the Theosis, though. That way he can load that up. I feel like, yeah, you definitely should have just eclipsed first, right? Because then they're going to have to chain Zeus if they want to. But they would have to chain because they don't want to leave you with Birth, which would help clear his own board. Then you could special uni search Birth still, but now he's used Birth. So the Zeus goes through. Garura's going to draw. And let's just double check. This is not a quick effect, right? Yeah, this is not a quick effect. But it gives him a way to like out Birth on his turn. So now we'll special that. Search Theosis. You already used Birth, buddy. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, I guess that works. Big Eye, take the Zeus? That seems kind of bad. Put his own Zeus atop it. This doesn't feel like it's doing too much. And he didn't set the Eclipse. So we'll see Field Spell. I think he just drew the Lance. I accidentally hit fast forward. But Field Spell for Fenrir. Special Fenrir. The opponent's probably going to Zeus. They're not going to Zeus. Grab Rise Heart. Enters battle. Forces the Zeus. Special Uni. Search Theosis. Rise Heart effect. Rise Heart effect. What did we hit? Theosis, Planet Chalice. Theosis effect, add Rise Heart, so now he's got follow-up. Birth for Fenrir. Kashtira again. And he opts to not get rid of the Zeus or anything, which is going to stop his opponent from being able to special stuff. And then he's got this to check Birth. The Lance is going to stop like an Eclipse from being removal. But then if he plays this right, this guy, which the way he's been playing, I don't necessarily think he'll play it right. No offense to you, man. But he could go Chalice on a Rise Heart, which would force this, and then chain Eclipse, which will set it. But instead, he's just going to put Birth down. His Birth is going to activate to banish 3 face down. I didn't even think about that, actually. That kind of checks it. But he does have Unicorn for the Birth. So it's not the end of the world. But the way he played this, right, once he activates Birth, it's going to get hit by this. He thinks he's going to chain Chalice, but that plays into the Lance. Also, there's a case where you should have summoned this in the extra monster zone. Just to, like, even though you're not playing the Sky Striker spell, people are. Although maybe he doesn't want him to have the read. He has a card like that. Because, like, if this guy predicted this set card was Lance or the Sky Striker and played it correctly based on that knowledge, he wouldn't be about to get blown out by a Lance. So he's just going to hard use this before he activates Birth effect, though, which feels wrong. Chain Chalice, chain Lance, and he just scoops. Is that correct? Yes or no. So he had the 4. I'm trying to think if that was correct, because he could have still normaled the Rise Heart, used its effect, banished Theosis. Yeah, it wasn't going to do anything, I don't think. But there's definitely a way he could have played that with by playing around Lance, but he didn't respect the card enough, I guess. Also, is the sun too glary right now in my webcam? I can't really tell. Ooh, this is an interesting tech. We see Book of Eclipse, Magic Deflector, Chalice, Fenrir, Uni versus Uni, Enemy Controller, Lance, Imperm, Theosis. Holy, Magic Deflector seems cool. For those that don't know what it does, for the rest of this turn, negate equip, field, continuous, and quick play spells on the field. Special uni gets impermed, and we just see a set 3 pass. Oh, So this is an instance where he could have chained the Eclipse, right? And he could have searched Birth and then used Birth to normal Fenrir, Fenrir to search Rise Heart, special to Rise Heart, but that's not necessarily getting him anywhere. That would just get him to like a Fenrir on board and a rank 4. I mean, a rank 7 potentially, which is stronger than just a unicorn, but I don't think it's stronger than a unicorn Book of Eclipse. And here we see Prosperity, Theosis, Lance, Enemy Controller, Uni. Special Uni, on summon Book of Eclipse, Chain Lance. Effect, Birth. Theosis for Fenrir. Fenrir, Chain Chalice. Prosperity. Adds Book of Moon. I wasn't even going to try to guess on this one. Overlay for the Dark Armed XYZ. This card's so good. Especially when you have the Theosis locked and loaded in grave. It basically says, add a Kashtira from grave to hand and destroy 2 cards on your opponent's field. And the opponent just scoops to that. I don't think he would have been able to put up game here, but he was definitely going to be in a spot that was hard to lose with the book and the econ. And so that's the profile, guys, and the matches. If you guys like content like this where we showcase stuff from people that have performed well on the DB ladder, let me know. Because I like the idea of replays, right? And I'm going to be honest, DB Grinder is like my favorite content creator to watch because I like that he gives his opinion sometimes, but it's more so you just watch duels, learn interactions, and kind of make your own assessments based on that, on what people are playing and how you should play moving forward. But you never really see the decks that they're playing. So if you want to see something like a mixer where you get to see the deck profile and then see it in action of the people on the top, let me know. And if you're in the top 200 and want your stuff showcased, hit me up on the YouTube comments or on Dueling Book, and I'd love to showcase your deck. Thank you guys for watching, and take it easy.